What does it actually mean to have an abundance mindset? And can changing your mindset genuinely change your life? An abundance mindset is the expectation that opportunities, resources, and support can be found, developed, or created. It also includes a belief in your ability to influence what happens next through the choices you make and the actions that you take. This affects what you notice, what you pursue, and what you allow yourself to receive. It influences whether you apply for an opportunity, share your abilities, ask for support, state your fee confidently, or continue after experiencing disappointment. Imagine that two people receive an invitation to apply for the same professional opportunity. The first person immediately assumes that other applicants will have more experience and closes the message. The second person reviews the requirements, considers what they can offer, and submits an application. Neither person knows what the outcome will be. However, their beliefs have already influenced what becomes possible through the actions that they take. The same thing can happen when a potential client asks about your fee. You may reduce your price before they've expressed any concern because you expect them to reject it. You might avoid mentioning a service you provide because you assume that nobody will want it. And these decisions can feel practical while an underlying scarcity belief quietly directs them. A scarcity mindset focuses your attention on insufficiency, insecurity, and restricted possibility. It can cause one difficult experience to become evidence about your entire future. A failed application becomes proof that opportunities aren't available to you. A financial setback becomes proof that you'll always struggle. Someone else's success can feel as though it reduces what remains available for you. And these responses often begin as ways of creating safety. Holding back reduces your immediate exposure to failure. Avoiding visibility limits the possibility of criticism. Controlling every detail creates a temporary feeling of certainty. And as you repeat these responses, they can become habitual and gradually form part of your identity. You may begin to see yourself as someone who has to remain cautious, keep everybody happy, handle everything alone, or prepare constantly for problems. Your family, education, culture, relationships, and previous experiences all contribute to these beliefs. Perhaps you grew up hearing that money was always scarce, that successful people were selfish, or that pursuing an ambition was irresponsible. You may have learned that approval depended on achievement, obedience, or meeting other people's needs. And once those ideas become very familiar, they influence what you notice and how you interpret events. A belief directs your attention. Your attention selects particular details. Those details create an emotional and physical response, and that response influences your behavior. The result can then reinforce the original belief. And this explains why positive thinking alone often has a really limited effect. You may consciously believe that abundance is possible, while your emotional responses and behavior remain organized around fear, approval, control, or insecurity. Affirmations can help to focus your attention, provided that you can engage with the statement you're making. If you're experiencing financial anxiety and repeatedly tell yourself that you're wealthy, the statement may create resistance because it conflicts sharply with your present experience. I've found that questions can work a lot more effectively for some people. You might ask, why am I becoming more confident? Why am I increasingly able to recognize opportunities? Or why am I becoming more comfortable receiving support? A question encourages your mind to search for relevant evidence. If the question still feels too far removed from your experience, make it more credible. You could ask, what gives me a reason to feel more confident today? Or what opportunity can I recognize in my current circumstances? An abundance mindset can develop during genuine financial difficulty. Bills, debt, insecure employment, health problems, and caring responsibilities all affect the choices available to you. Your mindset influences how you engage with those circumstances and whether you can recognize useful information, existing abilities, available support, and realistic next actions. At the end of 2023, a fashion designer I call Nora contacted me for coaching while her business was experiencing a serious financial crisis. She could afford just the first month's coaching, so we began working together, and I encouraged her to continue with regular meditation-based practices that I'd given her while she remained engaged with her business and her existing clients. And by the end of that first month, she still hadn't experienced the improvement that she wanted, and she couldn't afford the full fee for another month's coaching. So I reduced the fee so that we could continue. Around the middle of the second month, she experienced a sudden influx of clients. She messaged me to say that she'd earned more during that 1 week than she had throughout the entirety of the previous year. Nora attributed that result to the coaching. It was an exceptional individual experience, and many factors may have contributed, including her existing business, her client relationships, and the timing, of course. What stood out was her willingness to maintain her practices, stay engaged with the business, and continue acting with confidence during an extremely difficult period. And you can begin developing an abundance mindset by choosing one recurring scarcity statement. Use the exact words that appear in your mind when you feel under pressure. It might be, there's never enough time, money always disappears, or people like me don't get opportunities like that. Then ask what the statement assumes about you, other people, or life. There's never enough time might contain a deeper belief such as my needs always come last, or I have to agree to everything people ask of me. Now next, trace the behaviour that belief produces. Perhaps you overcommit, refuse to help. Maybe you postpone important activities or spend your time meeting everybody else's expectations. Create a more accurate statement that expands your available choices. You might say, I can decide what deserves my time and ask for support when I need it. And finally, take one action that supports this understanding. Decline an unnecessary commitment. Ask someone to help you. Protect an hour for an important task or complete something you've repeatedly postponed. That action gives you lived evidence of a different response. As you repeat the process, the new response becomes increasingly familiar and begins to influence what you expect from yourself. An abundance mindset develops through ordinary decisions. You see it when you recognize an opportunity, value your contribution, receive support, respond constructively to difficulty, and continue taking purposeful action. Mindset forms one part of this process. Your beliefs, emotions, physical responses, behavior, and identity also need to support the direction you consciously want to take. As these elements become more coherent, abundance becomes increasingly present in the way you perceive yourself, respond to circumstances, and participate in your own life.